How did you lose your best friend? Before we start with the first story, please hit a subscribe and ring the notification bell to stay updated with us. Number 10. No idea. He slowly stopped answering calls, texts, emails, his wife, even more so. I'd occasionally stop by to see them and everything appeared to be okay. They never stopped to see us, even though his mother lived just a few miles away. I just quit trying. Same parallel in my own life. Great friend growing up, went to same college, both moved to same area, similar interests, both had kids around the same ages. Over the years I had done 95% of the heavy lifting in the relationship. I was always the one to reach out. It eventually gets tiring. We actually do have a heart-to-heart, and it turns out some stuff that happened in high school, family issues, were heavily weighing on him, and unfortunately, I was the reminder of those times for him. I did nothing wrong, was a good friend, always there for him and his family, but eventually my presence itself became the burden. Once I realized this, I stopped reaching out. Now we wish each other happy birthdays/holidays, and that's it. C'est la vie. Number 9. Slowly everybody just grew apart. Basically, some got jobs after college, some of us joined the Marines, some started their own companies. Some got married and had kids. Here we are in our late 30s, and we'd be lucky to hear from any one of us via text. Number 8. His wife tried to sleep with me. I didn't let it happen and I told him about it. They reconciled and had more kids, that it got weird whenever I was around, so we drifted apart. Very similar thing happened to me. I caught his fiance flirting with some guys in a bar on a night out. She told him she was on a girls' night out. From what I could see, it was her and one other girl, flirting with guys all night to get free drinks. Maybe nothing wrong with that, but in another bar, later on, I came out of the gents, and she was in the corridor with her hand up some guy's shirt, his hand on her arse, and it looked like they were in the middle of making out. She saw me and snapped out of it and went into the loo. I sent him a text saying what I saw. No reply until the next morning. He phones to say she's accused me of trying to kiss her and grabbing her arse. Long story short, she convinced him that I had come onto her, and my story was to deflect blame. He believed her because she was f***ing him. We made up enough that I was best man at his wedding, but things were still distant. It was only after 5 years of marriage, when they broke up, that she admitted she had made that up, and he apologized. Number 7. He stayed up all night putting finishing touches on a senior term paper at high school. The deadline for the paper was unforgiving, and at least one person missed the deadline every year. Paper was worth 50% of the term grade. He was a smart guy, top 5 in a class of 500. Anyway, he didn't show up at school the next day. Around midday, they announced his death due to a traffic accident on his way to school. I'm not sure he was my best friend, though he was a very good friend, but I'm pretty sure I was his best friend. Good guy, lousy ending. Rest in peace, RC. Number 6. Best friend is gay. Known him for about 35 years. Marries a woman who is a total religious psycho. She even lied to him for years about her age before they married. Always tells him what to do, and he's the type who can't say no. She finds gay porn on his phone and makes him delete all social media, cut off ties to everyone he knows, outside of family. He'd STD tested, confessed to their preacher and his parents, makes him get a new phone and puts tracking software on it. I haven't seen or heard from him in nearly a year and have no idea how to contact him. He should have never kept secrets from her, but he should have never married her in the first place. I wish there was something I could do. Number 5. The final straw was when I asked him not to smoke weed before he came to my father's memorial service. Dude is a huge stoner, and whenever he drove anywhere he'd smoke a blunt too, or from whatever he was doing. I asked if he could please not do that because he would stick up the entire room/church where the service was being held. He refused and said if I didn't like his lifestyle, I could go f*** myself. I just asked if he could not smoke for an hour or two. No, we weren't like teenagers either. We were adults. Later in texts, because he wouldn't talk on the phone anymore, we got into an argument and he told me he knew me better than I knew myself. Like, how fucking arrogant can you be? Knew him for 20 plus years, haven't heard a peep in 5. F him. His folks are still awesome, and we email back and forth once a week, never mentioning their son. F you, Eric. Number 4. He himself. I often go and meet up with his little brother and we play with his toy cars. I think it takes my mind off it as much as it is. Edit. I'm going to turn off reply notifications as I'm feeling a bit down and don't want to be reminded of the thing. Thank you all for your support, and have a wonderful day. Number 3. Best friends since we were 12. Best man at my wedding when we were 28. Day after the wedding, he never spoke to me again. No explanation, calls and texts went unanswered. He would avoid being at any social event I would be at, which was a few because we had the same circle of friends. Tried for 2 years to keep that friendship alive. For another opinion on what may have happened besides the comments below. Sad as it may be, it could be you grew apart and he didn't want to remain your friend. But he felt bad about ruining your wedding. So he made it seem like everything was fine, did his duties as your best man, and only then felt like it was acceptable to ghost. Not saying it's right, but I know some people that changed for the worse during wedding prep, once they got engaged. I also know some people who got jealous that their friends were in relationships or married while they were single. I felt that to a lesser degree. Number 2. I started using a wheelchair. I learned the hard way that most friends just can't deal with that. Almost all of my friends today never knew me as a walking person. I get this, at least from being the spouse's perspective. My wife was diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa 2 months after our wedding in 1997 and determined to be legally blind due to only having about 8 degrees of vision. Normal vision is tilde 177 degrees. Immediately gave up her driver's license. So at 28 years old she was isolated. No public transportation, nothing remotely walkable. She learned to use the white cane, but to some people that was apparently embarrassing, so many friends fell by the wayside. I traveled a lot for work, and man, it would have been nice if close-by friends and neighbors would have asked if she wanted to ride along to the store, if nothing else other than to get out of the house. We thought things would have gotten better once she got her first guide dog. Not really. Now we're invited to less and less people's houses because of dog hair. This is not an allergy issue. I guess vacuuming is more troublesome than being a friend. So the only way we see these friends is to invite them to our place or meet in public, those who don't have issues being friends with someone with a disability. Luckily, we have some friends who have stuck by us and made some others. Number 1. Had this happen. I spent 6 years randomly texting/calling him to hang out with me. Same thing every time. Yes, Saturday is good. Few days later, sorry man, Saturday isn't good anymore. Then on Saturday he would post photos of him hanging out with some other people that used to be my friend. This kind of stuff went on for 6 years. I always made the plans, he always canceled last minute. Oh, he wanted to see me when he wanted my GameCube controller that he still hasn't returned. Asshole. I basically was in a small 5-person friend group and got pushed out by the other 3, and then eventually he pushed me out completely. Funny enough, he wanted me to do his wedding photos. Previously, I didn't even know he was getting married. I didn't get an invite. I agreed, told him how much it cost. He said that's fine. A year later, 2 weeks before the wedding, I sent an invoice and contract, and he said, "Dude, what the hell, you're my best friend." I thought it was going to be free. I really wanted to say, "How are we friends?" when he ghosted me for 6 years. Instead, I just said, "All clients are required to sign a contract. This allows me to use the photos for marketing purposes, and the invoice is just a courtesy to inform you of the upcoming charges that will be due." He told me to F off and that I'm not invited to the wedding. Unfriended him on Facebook ASAP. Through the grapevine, I heard he was super pissed that he didn't have a wedding photographer, but that's not my problem, lol. Alright folks, that's a wrap. Thanks for joining us today. If you like more of this, please hit a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. You can also share your own story or thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. I'll see you in the next video.